Hey everybody, this is Coy Peltz, a Commerce REALPro, and I'm glad you guys could make it today. It looks like we just have a few loan officers on the call today. I know it's Friday, so I know it's probably one of our lower days we've had. So we're going to go ahead and unmute you guys so you guys can talk, because since we have it's just loan officers on the call today, I'm going to go over all of the features, but I also want to talk to you guys, and get some feedback and tell you what has been working for a couple other loan officers. So anyway, so basically I'm going to go ahead and start off. It looks like we have Chad, Jan, and Scott. Is that right? Can you guys talk? Do you guys have microphones?
Yep,
yes,
I'm
sir.
on. This is Jan.
Awesome.
And this is Michelle. Maybe mute yourself and then unmute yourself if you have a question or something, just to keep the sound quality good if something's going on in the background.
Okay. Yeah, they can do that. It's not too bad right now. So I'm going to start off with a story that I just got yesterday. So I had a commerce loan officer yesterday who was given a couple of names to call from a loan officer who had left Commerce. And this person, they didn't know a whole lot about Commerce REALPro. They gave me a phone call. They're like, hey, I want to call these people, but I don't really know what to say. I gave them, just a couple-minute spiel on what they should say, because these people had already used Commerce REALPro in the past, and but they hadn't logged in, and like one of them hadn't logged in like 4 months, and I think the other one hadn't logged in for 2 months. And so it's like they haven't really used the system recently, and so here's what you need to tell them. And the guy, he called me back after he made 2 phone calls, and he's like, this is amazing. He's like, because one of the realtors did have one listing that was still on there. It was a couple $1 million listing. He talked to her, and he talked to both of these agents and let them know, the new things that REALPro does, like the Trulia featuring and things like that. And he got a deal. He got a loan application out of one. And the other agent is like, you know what, I didn't know that REALPro did this. I need to log in and enter in 5 of my other listings that I just haven't put in. So I would rather talk with you guys a little bit today one-on-one, go over all of the features, but, give you guys some tips on what you can say to agents that will pretty much, I don't know why they wouldn't sign up at this point. If our system does 0, if our system doesn't even work, but it features their listings on Trulia, they should pay the $10 a month just for that. And that's actually what one of the agents did say. The Trulia featuring, just for them to be able to, even though the Trulia featuring does get 5 times more leads than an unfeatured listing on Trulia, just to be able to tell their listing, their clients that they're featuring their homes on Trulia, that they're working harder for them is huge. And it can mean the difference between them winning a listing appointment and them not. If they can use Commerce REALPro and say, we feature your listings on Trulia, we make sure, we create these videos and we create a single property website, and we do all these things, whether they, work, how well they work, is not even, it doesn't even matter. They're going to be able to win that listing appointment. Does our system, one of the big, things that I know loan officers have been having problems with is, realtors will say, well, if somebody searches for homes in Danville, California, and they search for Danville, homes, they're not going to see the Commerce REALPro website, which is true. They're going to see the website if somebody searches for a property address, but the thing is the only people that are showing up when somebody searches for Danville homes in California are the websites like Trulia and Zillow, Realtor.com, maybe somebody like Redfin or Coldwell Banker. I see, some really major sites that people spend a lot of time on, and they get a ton of hits. Also, the only other people that are showing up there, the local realtors, are the people that are paying for AdWords, and those people spend thousands of dollars each month on AdWord campaigns. So don't present this as, this is going to be your website and it's going to generate you 300 visitors a month, 400 visitors a month, because that's not what the website does. It costs $10. Websites that generate hundreds of visitors a month are websites that people pay thousands of dollars for on a monthly basis to drive traffic there. So this is a great tool for your agents to say, hey, on your next listing appointment, you can, we're going to make sure that, your house gets featured on Trulia. That's a feature that not many agents do, and it's a premium feature that a lot of agents don't pay for. So that's one bonus. Another bonus to the Commerce REALPro website is, it can help them get leads, but they have to use the system. And we're going to go over some of those things today. I know we sent out a blast email about our Craigslist changes, things like that. We sent that out this morning, and actually we've probably gotten one of our higher click-through rates on any email campaign that we've ever done. And we've actually received probably about 8 or 10 phone calls about agents that were, they've already called asking questions about posting on Craigslist. So anyway, to get started, I'm going to go ahead and log in as Lexi Thompson. Do you guys have any questions so far?
No.
No? Okay. And Scott, I think we talked yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, we sure did.
Yep.
And
Yep.
supposedly Ron Malsby and 2 other agents were supposed to be on the call today. I don't know what happened, but I'll follow up with them.
Okay. So in our 101 class, we typically talk about how to add a listing by MLS ID and how to add it manually. So hopefully your agents, by this time have already gone through that setup process, and they've already have a listing or 2 in here. And if somebody wants to, we'll start off posting on Craigslist, because Craigslist is actually a pretty big deal. I know I tell everybody I've never thought about searching for a house on Craigslist because I've been in the real estate business for a long time, and it would just be the last place I would go. But the problem is I'm not the common person out there doesn't always know where to start, and it's unbelievable to me on how many people actually go to Craigslist to look for a house. Which just shocks me, but you know what? You might as well advertise there if it's going to help bring you business. So what we can do to advertise on Craigslist, we do provide Craigslist HTML, and what this does is this allows your agents, typically if you go to Craigslist, and I will show you what most of the ads are looking like today. If you go to real estate for sale, even if we go to the ones that are advertised by a broker, that means a real estate agent is putting them on there. I'm going to open up the first few here, and you're going to see this is just a plain text ad. They have bold in the very beginning, but most agents are still trying, it says click here for more information. You can't click here anymore. So this agent really has no clue about the changes that have happened over a month ago with Craigslist. Otherwise, they wouldn't be having their ads look like this anymore. So this is a normal ad. This is the same guy. It looks like. Here's one that's a little different. So this guy at least has uploaded a picture. He's put the map on there. Pretty easy stuff. But again, for additional property information, they can copy and paste this below, but it's all just plain text. So it really doesn't look all that great. And so these are the type of Craigslist postings that people are putting out these days. And what we have with Commerce REALPro is something that I think is much better. We still give them this HTML here. And basically, if somebody wants to look at one of our properties, they're going to be able to, this is what the text is going to look like. So I'll actually log in here. Give me a second. Let me log in. Let me go. So as you can see, I just logged into my Craigslist account. I can do housing offered. This is what your agents will do. And they can do real estate by broker. And then they're going to have a posting title. So I'm just going to say great home in Mason, Ohio, because that's where I'm located. Put a zip code, and then in the posting description, they're going to copy and paste the HTML code we give them. They're just going to copy and paste this in here. Have you guys marketed on Craigslist before? Have you ever seen any of your agents do this?
No.
No? Okay. And then they're going to go ahead and type in their square footage if they want. They have to type in a price. Housing type. They can click continue. And then if they click continue again, because I did show it on a map, now they can actually upload their photos. Which, let me go back. Edit images. Let me see if I can find a couple. I think I have a house photo or two. Just go steal one real quick. Now, it used to be with our old Craigslist HTML, they didn't have to do any of this. They could actually just, copy and paste our HTML code in, and it just worked. But unfortunately, that's Craigslist, when they made all of their changes a month or two ago, they disabled all of our features that we had. They thought that Craigslist was getting a little too commercialized, so they just changed it so we couldn't automatically upload those pictures. All right, let me go to my desktop and grab that picture. So we can put our image here. Okay, so this is what our ad will look like. They can upload their one picture. If they want to upload multiple pictures, it'll actually show them down below here. But we tell people to only give one picture because really we want them to go to the website where we can capture their information. And but as you can see, like this ad looks a little better, a little more professional than this one, or this one, or any of these. So this is probably some of the best. There's a couple other places out there that allow agents to have some HTML code like what we're doing, but I can tell you they don't give as much information as what we have. Because we have the property address. If they wanted to come visit the website, they can copy and paste it, and we give them instructions on the copy and paste it. We have the realtor's contact information really big here, and we also have the virtual tour. So if somebody wants to, we have several different places where people can get information, make an action, to where they can see more information about the property and where we can collect this from them. Get leads out of this. I have a couple agents. I had one agent when the Craigslist made their changes. The one here in Cincinnati, who he's kind of my guinea pig for a lot of stuff. I mean, he gets close to $1 million in sales. He's been the last couple months, it's gone down to maybe about $700,000 or $800,000 just by marketing on Craigslist, which is awesome. Now he's really good at it, and he's probably more aggressive than what most of your realtors are going to be. But he does really well at it. I mean, he not only does he puts all this on Craigslist, he markets HUD homes, which is something that we talk about in our 301 training a lot. But HUD homes are listings that if an agent, if you have one of your agents that don't have any listings at all, so at that point maybe the truly featuring is not a big deal for them because they don't have any listings, but they can still market HUD homes, and so they can market HUD homes on Craigslist, and that's all this guy does. He's like, listing homes is a pain in the rear because sellers are always telling you that you're trying to sell it for too low, and they always think their home is worth more. He's like, I would rather have buyers, and he gets buyers by marketing HUD homes because for the most part, HUD homes are pretty good deals, and they sell quickly. They don't linger around. HUD homes don't stay on the market for 4, 5, 6 months at a time. They go pretty quick, and if they're not going quick, then the HUD managers, they'll just lower the price. And so he's like, those are great homes to market. He's like, very few of his clients that he gets from marketing HUD homes ever buy a HUD home. He's like, most of them, I bring them out, I show them the HUD home, they realize that there's more work in it than what they want. They want a home that they can just walk in and move into. And he's like, so I sell them something else. He's like, it's great because that HUD home's still out there. He'll go to a neighborhood where a HUD home might be located, and he'll put up just signs that say just signs that he hand writes on, HUD home for sale, or he'll he'll have some catchy little slogan. So he does work hard at it. He goes out, he'll put flyers places, he'll print off flyers from the site. He'll handwrite, these signs. So he works at it, but you know what? He's selling $700,000 to $800,000 worth of homes a month, and not having to worry about, pleasing clients, for listings. He doesn't have to argue with them. And he's like, it's just what works for me. So everybody can have their own level of success with this, and I don't expect everybody to have the same kind of success that he does, but I definitely believe that, your agents, so what if they only pick up one deal a month because they have to spend an hour every morning, prospecting? That's still a decent, amount of income. If they pick up a $200,000 home and they make a 3% commission on it, that's not a bad deal for an hour's worth of work every morning. And so that's really what we have to, set the expectations for our agents, let them know that, all of the different ways that Commerce REALPro can help them, and this is just one of the many ways that we have here, is by marketing on Craigslist. Another thing that you guys, maybe there's not a lot of HUD homes in your area. It's not a big deal. We also we want to teach your agents, and we'll talk about it again on the 301 class when we have it. This is, we teach them how to market to for sale by owners, and what they can do is they can just start searching the by owners. Earlier I was searching real estate and I did by broker, but let's look for the people that have by owner. These people just aren't ready to list with a realtor yet. If their homes don't sell, they typically will list with a real estate agent. Typically it's after 60 or 90 days. But the thing is if you brought a client, if you brought a buyer to these people, most of them will pay an agent a 3% commission, a finder's fee. You bring me a buyer, they're willing to do that. So another thing that the guy here in Cincinnati does a lot of is he will email these people. He'll say, you know what, here's a decent sized home, $339,000. I guess this is a farm here. He'll email this guy and be like, you know what, he'll see if his email is in here. It doesn't look like it is. So what he'll do is he'll just reply and he'll say, you know what, if I find a buyer for this home, will you pay a 3% commission? He gets about a 70% response rate of yes. Sure. If you bring a buyer, I'll pay the 3% commission. Like, you know what, that's great. What I'd like to do to help find a buyer for your home is I'd like to market it. I understand you don't want to sign a contract. I get it. So let me at least put it on my REALPro website. And what this will do is this will give you a website. You can use the call capture signs that we have for you guys, which I'll talk about the call capture system here in a minute. I will make sure that your property gets featured on Trulia. I'll make sure we syndicate it out. I'm going to create a video, and I'll even give you some property flyers, because a lot of these for sale by owners don't have the tools to create a flyer, to do that kind of stuff. So the guy's like, you know what? Yeah, sure. You can market it, and because they only care about finding a buyer, and if they only have to pay that 3%, they're almost always willing to do it. And what they can do is they can show them, and they're like, you know what? Go to my REALPro website, which I'm going to go to the website. At the top of every page, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, at the top of every single page we create, there's a Feature My Home link. And so they can click that from the Home button. There's a Feature My Home here. If we go to any one of the single property websites we create, we always have this Feature My Home link up here. So what you do is you direct those for sale by owners to the Feature My Home link.
Can the realtors do that without having to put it in their MLS?
Yeah, a realtor can put it on their Commerce REALPro account without putting it into their MLS.
But there's no restrictions like they have to list it in the MLS because it's not really a listing?
It's not a listing. They don't want to sign a listing contract because they don't want to pay you if they find a buyer. They only want to pay you if you find a buyer. Because that's kind of what the for sale by owners, they've done it because they don't want to pay a real estate fee. And so what we've found agents having a lot of success is helping them find a buyer, because they're still willing to pay if you find them a buyer. And the thing is, if they don't sell their house after 30, 60, 90 days, at some point in time they will list with a real estate agent. At that time, you've pretty much got your foot in the door. You're not going to get them all. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you'll get every single one. But even if you sign up 10 people and you end up with 5 listings, maybe they want to list eventually because they haven't sold in 90 days. You say, you know what, maybe we should at least get your property listed. If you only turn out 5 out of 10, that's not a bad deal. You just got 5 listings that you never would have had. So it's a way for agents to get their foot in the door with for sale by owners. Hopefully they find a buyer and they don't even have to worry about listing it. They get the 3% commission, and they're on their way. So, but it's a tool. A lot of your agents, we have a lot of agents that just don't even have listings right now, and which I know those aren't the agents you really want to deal with because they're not giving you a lot of business either. So, this is a way when you walk into a real estate office, you can have a conversation with those agents. You know what? If an agent says, you know what, I'm slow, I don't have anything, well, hey, let me show you RealPro on how maybe you can pick up, a listing or 2. Let me show you how you can pick up a buyer or 2. These are 2 great features, marketing to for sale by owners and marketing HUD homes on Craigslist. It's a no-brainer. What agent in their right mind that doesn't have any business, what are they doing all day? They should be able to spend an hour a day working with RealPro to get a listing that way. Your agents with listings, maybe they don't want to prospect anymore, or they're just taking care of their current ones. That's why we're featuring them on Trulia. An agent that's featuring on Trulia, if they have 1 listing, they're paying $20. If they have 3 listings to feature on Trulia, they're paying $40. And if they have 10 listings, they're paying $70. Basically, they can pay $10 and they can have all their listings featured. It's kind of a no-brainer. It saves them money, and it doesn't take hardly any work on their part to get their listings entered into RealPro. So those are some great. I have, to be honest with you, you could pretty much stop there, and you can pretty much talk almost any agent if they see those benefits. There's almost no reason, unless they just don't want to work with you. Which not everybody. Maybe they're married to their current lender. And there's not a whole lot you can do about that. But if they're opening to, if you can get in there and start this conversation with them, maybe their other lender would never give them something like this. You're showing them how they can get more business. For the most part, when I see loan officers come into the real estate office that I work in the back of, they come in like, oh, give me a shot. I have, I'll give great customer service. I really know my loan programs, and I'll get your loan closed. Well, I don't know a realtor. Every realtor out there wants that to happen. If you're not saying those words, then you're not getting any business. So, that's kind of part of your job, is to be able to get the loans closed, of knowing your programs and things like that. Now you guys can say, yes, I can do that, but I'll also help you get more business. I'll help you, they can win more listing appointments. They can prospect and find, leads, or find, buyers or sellers. So those 3 things right there are almost invaluable. When you walk into a real estate office, because you're having a different conversation than what every other loan officer that walks in is having. So,
hey, Coy, I've got a question on Craigslist. How often do the agents need to repost?
That's a great question. I believe Craigslist terms, and it'll tell you after you post, you're not supposed to refresh it for like at least 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
Also, we try to tell agents that they should be posting these from their house and not their office. And the reason is Craigslist keeps track of the IP address of where these homes are getting posted. And if you have a bunch of agents all in the same office that are all posting to Craigslist, Craigslist is more likely to what they call ghost their listings. And that means that they'll go through the whole process. They'll copy and paste the HTML. They'll upload their photos. They'll do all that stuff. And Craigslist, when they go to actually search for the property, it's not going to show up. And because Craigslist, if they see too many postings come from one place, for some reason they just ghost them. They think it could be a bot, or they for some reason they just block them. So
okay.
What we try to do is what our most successful agents will wake up in the morning. They'll post 2, 3, maybe 4 listings, and on Craigslist, and they'll go about their day. So, and if they have 2 or 3 more that they can post the next day, that's fine. But if they don't, then they just wait a few days and refresh it again.
Gotcha.
So those are the ones that have the most success because their listings actually show up.
And then when they go to the site, does the real estate agent gets a notification, and do we as well?
Not just when they go to the site. So there's some changes I want to make to that. I want to almost kind of force them to fill out some to fill out a form when they go there. But when they copy and paste it to Craigslist, the only thing that they're doing immediately is they are they're getting to see the single property website. So they're going to go they're going to go to this site right here, and they're going to see this. They can request more information from here. Unfortunately, unfortunately for you guys, they're going to get about 10 times more phone calls than they are going to be people filling out this form. Again, the guy here in Cincinnati, he's like, it's almost a 10 to 15 to 1 ratio of people who will call him off of his Craigslist versus fill out that form. So what I'm trying to do, and what I would like to do sometime next year, is I want to make it, if somebody copies and pastes the URL from our Craigslist HTML, I would like to show them this property maybe for a few seconds, but then I would like to have one of those annoying pop-up ads. Enter in your information here for free something. I don't know, something to entice them to fill that form out. Okay. And as much as I hate those, and sometimes it'll drive me away, the bottom line is we do need to get, it does make it more likely that somebody will give you a lead. And that's really what it's about, right, is capturing some information to show some more value for you guys. And but your realtors, I can promise you they're going to get more phone calls than people filling out this form that you guys will actually see. If somebody fills out this form, you guys are going to get copied in on it. So another thing that we make it really easy for your agents to do is, again, I hope you guys all know how to enter in listings, or you've seen how that works. But when we go to one of these listings, your agents should also be marketing on whatever social media they have, even if it's just a Facebook page. Almost everybody has a Facebook page these days. So even if they're only doing it on Facebook, if they get this brand new listing, we try to tell our agents that, you should email your client a link so they can at least check out the website that you created for them, because this is something that they're doing above and beyond what their brokerage offers. And even if their brokerage is already creating a website for them, and their brokerage is doing all this, on their listing appointment, they can say they do it twice. If you're creating 2 videos, do you think that prospective client's going to be, happy or disappointed that they're doing it more? So in their mind, more is always better as far as marketing, so they can say, we create 2 websites, so send them a link, show them that, the website that we've created. But you can also, they should be sharing it to their Facebook page. If they want to share it to Facebook, they're going to have to log into their Facebook account. They're going to have to upload a picture. They're going to have to type something about the property, and maybe give a link to a website address or something like that. That takes your agent's time. We can save them a lot of time. All they do is have to go to our website, click the Facebook button. They will still have to log into their account, and if they're already logged in, they don't even have to do this step. And then we're going to upload. We're taking the picture. And somebody can click on this picture and they can go to the website. They just have to click share link. It's as easy as that to make a Facebook post. So it does save them some time of having to upload a picture to Facebook, trying to copy and paste whatever their property description is or whatever slogan they want. If they want to customize a message, they can still do it up here. So they can type whatever they want, and it's really fast and simple for them to share on Facebook. And if you're a real estate agent, you want people knowing what you do for a living. You want people knowing that you have listings, and that you're, I guess most people get a lot of their business from their, their friends and family. So what better place to, market and remind everybody that you're an agent than on Facebook? Same thing if they have a Twitter account, and they want to tweet their new listing. It's simple for them to do that. They just go here. They log in, they can do sign in and tweet. What it'll do is it'll say, check out this listing from the realtor, and it'll give the website address. It's super simple for them to do. Same thing with Pinterest. If they have a Pinterest page and they want to post some photos, they can easily do it here. If they wanted to share, maybe they have a list of prospects. They have a new listing. They want all of their prospects to know, about their new listing. They can enter in their information here, and we'll send out an email with a nice flyer and a link to the website to anybody that shares the listing by email. And the same thing with Google+. Google+ is probably the least used out of all of these buttons, but we still have probably about 10 or 15% of the agents who have Google+ pages that they market on. And so this is another great way for them to share it on their Google Plus page. So we try to make it really simple for them to do this, and and save them time. So that's one really nice thing about the social sharing links that we have on our website. And also anybody who visits this site. So it doesn't have to necessarily be your realtors. I mean, if you guys wanted to post it on your Facebook page or whatever, anybody who visits this site can share it socially. So this isn't just designed for the real estate agents. We also try to tell the real estate agents that they're buyer or they're sellers. They should let people know they're moving. And what easier way for them to post it to their Facebook pages than to go here and click the Facebook button. So it's pretty simple for them to do. So let me go ahead and go back into the back office here. Some of the other features that we have, obviously we have print flyers. So if somebody wanted to print a flyer on their website, they can do it from their back office, as you see here. Or we can also just we can print a flyer directly from the website that we have. It does take a couple seconds to make because we create these flyers real time, and there's a lot of different layers so we can have the most accurate information or most up-to-date information. But as you can see here, they can easily print a flyer. These flyers look a bit better than most real estate flyers out there. Most real estate flyers are pretty basic, so I think the flyers actually look pretty decent. Let me go back here. We also have a design center. So if you don't like that default flyer that we give everyone, we have a design center where they can actually pick from a few custom flyers we have. So they would, just click which template they want. So obviously we have the template with this kind of swoosh or whatever up here, but we have 3 other templates that they want. If they'd rather have, a different flyer, they can do it by easily clicking on which template they would like. And then the next page that we're going to come to is going to allow them to select one of their properties that has at least 4 pictures. So let's go ahead and click that. And then they can select whatever photos they want to put in here. So if they can drag and drop it. It's really simple. It doesn't take them hardly any time at all. They can create this flyer, and you're going to see I'm going to be able to do this in probably under a minute. So here we go.
Have you heard success of loan officers taking these out?
So the problem is, and again, something else that we want to do for you guys, loan officers, they want to be able to actually create flyers for a real estate agent and give them to use that to introduce REALPro to them. And I think that that's a great idea. But the only thing is we don't have a way for you to, take a realtor's listing and automatically create a flyer for them to bring it to them as an introduction piece. They have to actually have an account. They have to sign up, have an account, do it that way. I guess you could show them an example. I mean, you could take one of your other agents, or you could take somebody off of one of our test sites, and if you could print up a generic flyer and say, hey, this is the type of flyer that we create. I haven't had anybody tell me that they've done that, but honestly, there are people that are using our system. Like, I learn things from them all the time. They're always guys thinking of a different angle to, or a different way to introduce themselves to agents. Like I had one guy using the call capture system on Craigslist ads, and I had no idea he was doing it until, all of a sudden I see this one guy, he has a ton of extensions, but he hasn't ever asked for any signs. And so I saw what was going on in the system. I called him up. He's like, oh, no, I'm using this on Craigslist. And he's actually taking that number, the extension number from his back office. He's pasting it himself into Craigslist ads, so people, when they call, they're going to call the hotline number that we have. And he was doing that is because he said, well, this way, at least I know that somebody's calling. I'm getting that person's lead, because that way he's helping his agent market, but he's teaching them, that instead of just calling them, and I told you you get like 10 phone calls to every one person that fills out a form, well, this way all the phone calls, he gets a record of it. He knows every lead that comes in. He has that person's telephone number. So there are a lot of different things you can do with the system to tweak it, or to to use it to your advantage. And printing off flyers is another idea that I'm sure you could use. So you can see here, so I just dragged and dropped all those photos over. You know, I can type whatever I want in the description. It's going to update real time, so as I type it, you're going to make sure that it fits. So you can see how it updated there, and then we can save and print this flyer. We can even save this flyer and make sure that if somebody goes to the website, the next time when they print a flyer, they're going to see this one versus the one that we generated earlier. So it's pretty simple for them to do, and again, it only takes them a couple seconds. That's what agents like. You know, there are some really nice flyer programs out there, like the Improv Suite that an agent might pay $200 a year for, I think is the going price for it. But the thing is they have to upload all of their pictures. They have to do a lot of work, and honestly, agents aren't about doing a lot of work for some reason. They want whatever's easy and fast, and so that's kind of why we built, you know, the design center the way we did, because agents love the fact that they don't have to do much work.
So, Coy, on the back of a lot of flyers, you'll have like square footage, the property taxes, etc. Did you just put that in the description area there?
Yeah, yeah, you can put it in the description. I don't know that we have it on our main flyer, so it doesn't have that. So you can type whatever you want in this description. And the thing is that if you have a flyer that your agents really like, and you know, we get people that say, you know what, you know, we would like to have this flyer, and it's more than just one or two people, we'll design that flyer. All you just have to give us a copy of it. We'll design it and we'll put it in the back office. So it's not like we're, you know, we'll develop more flyers if you guys have different flyers that you like or things that'll go better. The only thing that I can tell you we probably won't do is we know some loan officers have asked to have financing information in there. Mm-hmm. And that's not something that we're willing to do at this time. I'm not going to say we'll never do it. But the reason we don't want to do it right now is because then we have to worry about, you know, making sure that APRs and things like that are disclosed properly, and we're not really ready to take on that liability, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. Okay.
So.
On the flyers, do you recommend putting them out on the listing signs? Like, have you heard if that's getting loan officers more calls?
Sure. They should help, you know, their agents. They can say, hey, here's a bunch of flyers, and, you know, have them put out on those boxes that they always put them out in. So sure, because your name is going to be on every flyer that we have, and you know, it just gives you more exposure. But I try to, you know, have loan officers, you know, they're always like, I want more exposure, I want more exposure. It's really about, you know, hopefully the realtor is going to be driving that person to their finance person, so hopefully it's more about the relationship that you build with them than making sure your picture is on a flyer. We're probably going to create a few flyers with a little less loan officer marketing, just because that's what some agents have asked for. They're like, you know what, that's an awful lot of space for my loan officer. Now, I get it, you know, like you want your name on there, but hopefully the system allows you to create a good enough relationship that they're not trying to do an end around on you. And so we'll always have your information on there. We're never going to take it totally off, but we're looking at some flyers right now that don't have like the loan officer. They might have a smaller Commerce logo and maybe not your profile picture, but still all of your information. Just because that's actually something a lot of our realtors have asked for, so that's something that we're looking into. And again, we try to make sure your information, I mean, it's on every single, you know, page, every single web page. We're never going to take it completely off of that. It's on all of our mobile websites that we create for you guys. Every time we syndicate a listing out to Trulia, you know, at the end of every property description, and we say, to get pre-qualified, call the loan officer. So we do make sure, you know, we don't leave you guys out really anywhere. But I know that one of the big requests is to have a little less exposure on some of the property flyers. Another cool feature that we have for you guys is this call capture system. I don't know how familiar everyone is with call capture, but basically we have a bunch of signs that we printed up to say for 24-hour recorded information, call this 800 number, and it has a 4-digit extension on the end of it. If somebody, and so the agent would put this out on top of their sign writers, and when somebody calls it, we're automatically going to capture that person's phone number. Even if it's a blocked caller ID or anything like that, we're going to capture it because they're calling a toll-free number. And we're immediately going to text the real estate agent to let them know that somebody is in front of their house and they've asked for more information. Now when they call into that number and they enter in the 4-digit code, they're going to hear a recording about the property, which is basically a copy of the property description, or the agent can call in and give their own custom recording, and then they can press 1 to have the mobile website sent to their smartphone. They can press 2 to be connected with a real estate agent, and they can press 3 to hear about the great financing options on that home. And so if they press 3, they're actually going to be connected to you, the loan officer. Now we don't text you guys immediately when somebody calls, because if you have 10 different realtors that are all getting multiple calls all the time, we had one agent alone who got like 50 calls in a matter of like 10 days or something, which is extremely unlikely. Like that was a pretty extreme case, but they got a ton of phone calls, and their loan officers, between all of this loan officer's agents, their phone was just getting blown up with texts. So we only email you guys, and we'll put all the leads in your back office. When somebody calls about one of the properties, we don't text you every time, but we will text the agents to let them know immediately when somebody's called on one of their homes. Some agents will call them back immediately. Hey, I saw that you called on a sign for more information. Do you have any more questions? Some agents will wait a few hours, and some agents will follow up the next day. So, but you guys will get an email every time that happens.
If an agent has their own existing phone number, can they use that, or do they have to use the 800 number and extension?
Well, if they have their own phone number, how would we hook it up to our system? That's the thing. If they had their own phone number, that means they could have their own signs printed up, but they would have to forward their phone number to our 800 number, which they can do. So if they have a phone number that they want to use, and they even have signs, they would still have to use our property extension. So if you have agents that want to try to figure out a way to use a local number or something like that, if you have them call me, I'll be more than happy to work with them.
Okay.
As far as the signs go, as of right now, the signs are free. Can't beat that price. So even if an agent is using a different, because a lot of times agents will pay anywhere from $29.99 to about $59.99 for a call capture system. And one of their biggest complaints was, well, that means we have to replace all of our signs too. And so we actually give you guys free signs to give to your agents right now. So you guys can use the signs. That we'll just ship them out to you. They'll request signs on here, and we'll ship them to you so you can give them to your real estate agent. And so I mean, again, a great value. If they have a call capture system, that their brokerage isn't paying for, the price for RealPro at $9.95. Nobody has a call capture system that only costs $9.95. Especially it's giving them free signs. I mean, it's just pretty much a no-brainer if they have call capture. So that's another one of the tools. Earlier we talked about the truly featuring. We talked about how to get them leads, with Craigslist and HUD Homes and for sale by owners, and then this call capture. If this is somewhere they're spending money. Realtors are also pretty tight for the most part. They hate spending money, and so if they can, if you can save them a few bucks. Loan officers are the same way, by the way. So, that nobody likes spending any money, which I get. So, but we're saving them, a ton. They can cancel that service, and they can just use RealPro instead. And again, at $9.95, I don't think they're going to beat it. We also have some other features here. If they want to change their website, colors, like the wallpaper that shows on the background, we made it so they can upload their own images. So if they have their own background, photo that they can upload, they can do that. Same thing goes if they just want to change, any of their photos here. We have some, default ones they can select if they want to do that. It does take about 10 to 15 minutes for this to change, because to try to keep our server speeds up, we cache everything, and which means that some of the changes that they make with these background images might not take effect immediately. So sometimes they can take up to 15 minutes. So don't go calling support right away, if they don't change immediately. Same thing goes with the website colors. If the blue doesn't go with their logo and they want a green or a yellow or red, they can easily change it. But again, it can take up to like 15 minutes sometimes. So be a little patient when you change those. We also have an open house system. So if your agents ever have an open house, and this is actually great for you guys, if you can convince your agents that they need to use this system, there are apps that people have bought, like through the Apple App Store and the Android store, that called Open Home Pro. And what it does is it allows them to conduct their next open house on a iPad or an Android tablet. Even their laptop, they can use their laptop too. And what it does is, somebody can just sign in, and if they use our system, we're going to send that person who signs into their open house a thank you email immediately, thanking them for showing up at the open house, and we're going to give them a link to the property website, and we're going to send them a copy of the flyer. The best part about this system is every time somebody does that, you guys get a copy of all of their leads, all of the open house leads. I'm sure that you probably don't get those sign-in sheets from most of your agents. In fact, I'd be shocked if you get them from any. Most of the webinars I do, very rarely do the loan officers get their agents' sign-in sheets unless they actually go show up to the open house. So this is a great way for you guys to get copies of all of their leads from their open homes, even if you don't show up, because we copy you in on everything. It's also good for the agents to use because they don't have to worry about transposing, if they, at their sign-in sheets, maybe if they're going to do a drip email marketing campaign or something like that, they're going to have to retype all of those names and import them into some kind of CRM or drip campaign. With our system, they can just export all of their leads to an Excel file and to a CSV file, and they can just import it, so they don't really have to do a lot of typing. So it's really easy for them, and it's just a little less work. And again, the biggest bonus is you guys get a copy of every one of those leads from all their open homes. So do you guys have any questions so far? Any questions on any of that?
So do you have any kind of example of that open house?
Yeah.
How that worked?
Yep, I can do that. So let's see. I will, the one that what's the property I've been playing with? So what they can do is from their active listings, they can do it to any listing that's active. They can click on the address, and they would probably want to configure their open house settings first. And here they can actually select which photo they want to show up on their iPad, Android tablet, or even their laptop. So they would click which photo, which I'm going to use this photo here of the back patio. And then they can scroll down here, and they're like, do you want to ask visitors for their address? We'll say yes. And then, we have 4 simple questions here. When do you plan to buy? Do you have a home to sell? Are you pre-approved for financing? And would you like to be notified about new homes in this price range as they become available? If they want to ask these questions, great. If not, they can uncheck them, and then they can click Submit. So that saves the information. And then they just click on the Start Open House button. As you can see here, it's a little stretched out, might be a little blurry on you guys' screens, but it'll look nice on an iPad. And so here's where, what a client would see or somebody that attends their open house will see. They can click this button here, or they can touch it to sign in. They can enter in their name. They can enter in their email address. Enter in their phone number. And then when they click next, they're going to, I'm going to be asked for my address here. And again, at any time, if somebody wanted to start skipping these questions, they can. They can click skip just to skip this question. And if it's not trying to go to the next page, and of course it always runs a little slower on my webinars, they have the skip all button. So this allows the person, if they don't want to answer, they can actually just go to the end. I'm going to go ahead and answer these questions.
But at least they've signed in so you can capture that info.
Absolutely. So after we've captured their info the second they fill out the first screen. So hopefully they at least fill that out when they sign in.
Have you had any good responses from agents doing this?
A few of the agents that were using the Open Home Pro, which I think they had like 20 or 30,000 downloads from the Apple App Store, And so we've had some agents that switched from Open Home Pro to this. And the reason they like our system better is because, again, it's easier for them. It's very, very similar. In fact, a lot of the things are almost direct copies. But their system, to use Open Home Pro, they have to upload all of their photos. They have to upload all their information. They have to upload a lot of data. But because we already have their listing on the, we have all of their listing data already, it's simple for us. They don't have to do anything extra except tell us what photo they want to use. So it's not a big deal. So then, after somebody finishes signing in, the next person would just come here and they would sign in. But I'm just going to go ahead and end this open house. I'm going to log back in. And then when I log in as the realtor, if I wanted to see all of the leads that came in from my open house, I would click the open house contacts. Yep, there we go. I would see the one from today, and here's the address. I would see my name and everybody who signed in, and I could see what their answers were to each one of those questions. If I wanted to export it, I would just click this button here, and I could export all of the leads from this particular open house. If I wanted to export every lead in my entire system, I could do that by just clicking this button up here, and it'll export all my open house contacts from all of my open houses that I've ever had by clicking this button up here. And that'll just put them like in an Excel format, so somebody can easily put them into any kind of drip campaign, whether they use Constant Contact or whatever. They don't have to retype all that information. So that's, and again, the best part is when you guys log into your back office, you're going to also see open house contacts. So all of your agents that had an open house, you're going to be able to, see a copy of all those. The only downside, the hardest part is making sure that there has to be internet access at the house when they do it. So they need to either have an iPad that has Wi-Fi or built into it, or they have to have Wi-Fi at the house. That's the only downside, is they have to make sure they have internet. But anymore, that's not really a big deal. Most homes have Wi-Fi available, so it's not really a big deal. So do we have any questions on that? No questions. So have you guys had any success stories or anything that you guys could share? I don't know how many agents each one of you guys have signed up. Or is everybody just kind of getting pretty new to the system?
Yeah, fairly.
Fairly
Had
new?
success as far as closing ratio, as far as showing them the program. Most of them are pretty awestruck, and then that's just a matter of the most difficult thing is having to send over the logo and the photo.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I've had that stumbling block before. Like, oh, how do I get my photo? Or as a whole, realtors are not the most tech-savvy group of people, so yeah, getting that can sometimes be a challenge. So.
This is Michelle. On that note, we actually created like a image that you could upload in the interim just to get going. So we have like a male and a female image that's just like a silhouette and a placeholder for their logo. So I can shoot that over to you, Scott, if that just gets them going, and then you can follow up with them.
Sure, that'd be awesome.
Well, guys, it's almost 2 o'clock, and I have another phone call that I have to get on here. I'm actually kind of glad that, hopefully, Scott, you got some good information, and same with Jan and Chad. I think probably, going through today, talking about how to sell it to a realtor is probably a little more valuable than just seeing the features. So hopefully, I've given you guys a few ideas, to go out, have a few realtors sign up and, have some success with it. But I can tell